In this video, we're going to have a look at reflections.
A reflection is a mirror image formed when a figure is folded and copied on a specific line.
In this video, we're going to revise what you learned in grade 8 about a reflection around the x and y axis. And in the next video, we'll have a look at a new reflection.
Let's start off by focusing on a reflection around the y-axis. So here we have a shape and I'm going to fold it around the y-axis. Its image or reflection will be formed to the left of the y-axis. Now let's focus on one coordinate at a time to see what happens. Point A has the coordinate 5, 3. After the reflection, A prime is at -5, 3. As we reflected around the y-axis, the value of y stayed constant at 3, but the x-coordinate changed from a positive value to a negative value. If we also have a look at another point, point C, you will see that the image of point C now has a negative x value, but the y value is still positive. Similarly, if I focus only on a coordinate and reflect it around the y-axis, the new coordinate will have a change in x value, so it will now change from negative to a positive x value of 2, but the y value stays the same.
So for reflection around the y-axis, we can formulate a general rule saying that the sign of the x-coordinate has to change.
Next, let's have a look what happens to a reflection around the x-axis. If we reflect this same shape around the x-axis, the image will lie below the x-axis. The coordinates of point A was 5, 3, and that has now changed to 5 and -3. So for a reflection around the x-axis, the x-coordinate does not change, but the sign of the y-coordinate changes. So if we look at point H and reflect it around the x-axis, the image will lie above the x-axis, and again, the x value will stay the same, but the sign of the y value will change and now be positive 2.
So the general rule for a reflection around the x-axis will be that the coordinates y value changes sign.
Example 1. In the sketch are points A, B, C, and C prime. Question A. Give the coordinates of A prime, the image of A after reflection around the x-axis. At the moment, we know point A is at -5, 2. If we reflect it around the x-axis, the image will be below the x-axis. That means the sign of the y value will change, and A prime will be at -5 and -2. Question B. Sketch the image of B after reflection around the y-axis and give the new coordinates. At the moment, coordinate B is at the bottom right, and when reflected around the y-axis, it will be on the bottom left where we form the image. So B prime will have the coordinate of -3 and still -2.
Question C. Give the general rule for the transformation from C to C prime. Here you can see that point C has been reflected around the x-axis, as the only change that happened was the sign of the y-coordinate. And the general rule for a reflection around the x-axis is that x, y changes to x and -y.
Example 2. Describe the transformation of triangle ABC to triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. On the sketch, it is clear to see that each coordinate has been reflected around the y-axis. If you could not see this, you can always have a look at one of the coordinates, and here A is 1, -1, and A prime is -1, -1. And when only the sign of the x-coordinate changes, it is a reflection around the y-axis.
Question B. Sketch triangle ABC double prime, the image of triangle ABC, after a transformation that is given by the rule xy becomes x minus y.
Here I'm going to start by writing down the coordinates of triangle ABC.
Now we need to apply this rule to each of these coordinates.
So starting with point A, which has a negative y value, this will now reflect, and A double prime will be the coordinate of still 1, but now positive 1. Point C's y value of minus 4 will now change and become positive 4, and the y coordinate of B, which is minus 3, will change to a positive 3. And now I can sketch the new triangle, which is the reflection of ABC in the x-axis. In the sketch, we can see that all three triangles have the same shape and size. Therefore, these triangles are congruent. That means their areas are also the same. So, just like with the translation, a reflection does not change the shape or size of a figure.